So, good evening everyone. Today we are going to start with our orientation session on the sociology optional subject. Our orientation session will last for next 40 minutes, 45 minutes, in which we'll be discussing about the various nuances related to sociology optional and who should choose sociology optional subject for the civil services preparation and how sociology help you in excelling in the examination and after basically qualification also. So this is our broader basically framework surrounding which we'll be having our discussion. My name is Raj Rai. I used to teach sociology in next IAS. Along with that, I also teach the society part in general studies. Right? So again, first question is that why to choose an optional subject, and for that matter, to be very specific, why sociology. So first and foremost thing is that optional subject is carrying a weightage of 500 marks in the civil services examination. So out of total numbers again which is allocated for mains examination, 500 marks basically are for paper 1 of sociology and paper 2 of sociology. Yeah, for that matter any optional subject. So again UPSC has made this arrangement in their civil service mains examination that they offer a student or an aspirant 48 optional subject choices. And you remember, whenever life gave us choices, we get confused. We never get confused when there is no choices. I have yet to meet a person who will ask me a question कि सर ऐसे का पेपर दूं या नहीं दूं. Right? They will never ask me कि should I choose GS1 or GS2. Why? Because there is no choice. Again, there are something in life where choices are not there. We can't choose our parents. So there is no choice. जो है उन्हीं को accept करना पड़ा. We can't choose our brother and biological sisters. Whether we like them or we don't like them, we have to live with them. Right? However, choices are there before you make friendship. So उसमें choice रहता है. तो we got confused कि इसके साथ दोस्ती रखूं या ना रखूं. Again, choices are there before marriage. So people take long time. राहुल गांधी जी अभी सोच ही रहे हैं करें कि नहीं करें, राइट? कुछ लोग सोच करके आगे भी बढ़ चुके हैं, राइट? सो दैट इज समथिंग विच इज व्हाट व्हेनेवर लाइफ गिव यू चॉइस द कंफ्यूजन और डिलेमा इज वेरी नेचुरल. सो इफ यू आर कंफ्यूज बिटवीन द ऑप्शनल सब्जेक्ट, you are not to be blamed. This is very normal. After 10th grade, every student is confused. Should I pursue engineering? Should I pursue medicine? Should I pursue commerce? Should I pursue humanities? It is very common. So after 10th grade, what helped you to make a decision was with some expert person. You have done some counseling कि मैं engineering करके क्या होगा, या medicine करके क्या होगा, या basically humanities में जाके क्या होगा. So this counseling will help you to make a informed decision. So this orientation session is also meant for giving you some information about what is sociology and how it will help you to become a basically good scorer in the or good score catcher in the examination of civil services. That is why we are organizing this. So this session is revolving around that information. So let's start with that. What is sociology? If you have heard about it, sociology, if I have to explain in very simple term, is a systematic study of society. So just like whenever I feel unwell, मुझे कुछ uneasy लग रहा हो, तो what I do, I'll go to a doctor. And what doctor do? Doctor examine all my symptoms. Based on that, he found out some pattern in my symptom which give him an idea कि okay, you are suffering from this health issue or that health issue. Exactly same what doctor does to a patient, the sociologist does to a society. Sociologist study society and analyze all its issue and provide some kind of suggestions or solution to resolve that issue, to make society stable and peaceful. Now that is what basically sociologists do, and they do it by learning or basically understanding the society through sociology. So sociology simply is a subject which has a subject matter of study of society. Ab, what will basically society means and what is there in society? So remember that again you have everything surrounding you as part and parcel of society. Society is defined in general as nothing beyond the web of relationship or sum total of interaction. Everything you see in your surrounding is society, and that make the basically sociology syllabus quite basically vast. But to reduce it for the civil services, UPSC has prescribed a very compact or shortest syllabus for this optional, where in paper 1 of sociology you have 10 units, in paper 2 of sociology you have 15 units. And majority of time, if you see the chapters and their title, you are already heard about it. Not exactly in the books, but from the basically your friends, from your parents, from your neighbors. So what is there in the chapters? So if you get the syllabus, you will appreciate it more. Again, there is a topic called as suicide. Have you heard of recent cases of suicide? There is one lady who is believed to be basically tortured for dowry and other things in Bhopal, and she committed suicide. Have you heard of some actors committing suicide? Have you heard of some kind of celebrities ending their life by committing suicide? This is a chapter given in Imelda Durkheim topic. Similarly, you have another topic in paper 2, caste system. Another topic in paper 2, tribal communities. Another topic in paper 1 as well as paper 2, religion. Another topic in paper 1 as well as paper 2 is system of kinship, in which we study marriage, in which we study family, in which we study all kinds of kinship. Right? Kinship matlab rishtedar or natedar. Then we'll have other aspects associated with the society around us. So these are the discussion we made in the sociology. And here the discussion is not made from a layman's perspective, which many people misconstrue कि ये तो सब पता ही है हमें. Why to basically waste so much of money to attend the classes? We'll do it by ourselves. They are well within their right to make this decision. But again, you have to understand that the topics are from the general part of society, but the understanding and explanation need some kind of expertise to basically analyze. And that is where you need some kind of basically hand holding. So again, sociology अगर आपने समझा है कि sociology is systematic of study of society, this entire sociology syllabus is basically covered in the span of 4.5 months, which is somewhere basically a duration we will take. So what we have to offer in this optional subject at next IAS. So again, just to give you a familiarity, we will have a regular 3 to 5:30 p.m. class. What we'll be doing inside the classroom, we'll have a detailed discussion of a topic, followed by compulsorily its write-up or its dictation. Why? Because today you might remember whatever we have discussed. After 6 months, you might not able to recall anything. So that time, these write-up and reviewing that write-up comes very helpful or handy. So first thing, we'll have entire topic covered in this manner. Secondly, what we do after completion of every unit, we have a habit that we will have a detailed discussion of all the PYQs. PYQs stand for previous year questions asked in the examination. They act as a guiding light for an aspirant to pursue their preparation in a right direction. These are those questions which UPSC has already asked, and this will be a good test for you. Ki, am I able to answer those questions which are already asked by UPSC based on my knowledge? If answer is yes, my preparation is going in the right direction. Without PYQ, if someone is preparing for civil services examination, it is exactly like ki in front of a traffic inspector, you are driving a motorcycle without helmet, looking at him, smiling at him. Naturally, you will be caught. You will be punished also. Right? फिर आपको पकड़ के चालान लग सकता है. So again, to save yourself and your time, which is very precious in this preparation, PYQs help us in basically preparing in the right direction. So after completion of unit 1, sociology, the discipline, will cover PYQs. After PYQs, we'll have a assignment given. Again, total 31 assignments are there. 31 assignments associated with 25 chapters are given. Every assignment will have a simple 5 to 8 questions each. Now, after learning the PYQ, I'll give you the write-up in the first few chapters so that you will understand, so that you will have a hands-on experience. Because शुरू में if I expect you to write a very fantastic answer, meticulous answer, is very unfair on my part. So, and also on your part. So, we have a first few basically chapters PYQ completely written from introduction to conclusion, so that you get a familiarity. This is what the basically requirement of question, and this is what we have to incorporate in answer. But rest assured, we will not ask you to change your style of writing answer, because we believe that everyone has a unique approach to write an answer. We have to just brush it up, we have to just mold it as per the requirement of UPSC. So without losing your natural instinct or ability to write an answer, we would basically train you, hone your skills for basically improving your answer as per requirement of UPSC. अब ये assignment आपको खुद से करना है. We will evaluate it after every 1 week. Basically, we'll have a dedicated discussion if possible for that assignment if it is needed. Right? After this assignment, what we'll have again, we'll have another unit for the discussion. So this process will continue from unit 1 of paper 1 till unit 25 of paper 2. Now, in between, to ensure that you are preparing at home also properly, we'll have a class test. So class tests are organized after every 5 units. तो 25 यूनिट हैं तो 5 क्लास टेस्ट होंगे. सिंपल डिवीजन you can have. So 5 class tests will be conducted in an exam line situation where 3 hours is given to the student and 10 questions are asked, so that they can develop a time bound writing of answer. यहाँ पे कोई टाइम नहीं है, आप 2 घंटे में एक आंसर लिखो, it is perfectly okay. But then in examination you have to write it within basically 8 to 10 minutes. So that rehearsal is also needed. We will do it in class basically test. After class tests are conducted, then we'll have discussion if it is needed. Now every unit completion this time will be followed by a dedicated doubt session. Again, this will be organized only on Sunday, online as well as offline if there is a need. Offline student have a easier basically way. Anytime they can ask their doubt during the class, after the class. Online student have some difficulty after the class. So we have a dedicated doubt session conducted for all the online student also, so that we can have a one-to-one discussion. Offline students are also welcome to participate. If they are very shy to ask it inside the class, they can ask it separately. Right? So this is what we will be doing. After the course is over, we will provide you a basically summary. This time I insisted them to provide you in the beginning itself. So summary of entire paper 1 and paper 2 as well as synopsis. Now what do you mean by synopsis? So imagine you have to appear at 6 PM the examination in the examination hall to write about sociology. अभी हो रहा है 5:15 20 मिनट और आपको 6 बजे एग्जामिनेशन देना है. Now before examination there is always a butterfly in the stomach. We get anxious. क्या लिखेंगे, या तो कुछ है नहीं. Everything is basically you can say spread or not very clearly seen in our mind. So before that examination you needed some kind of pointers to read and revise, so that you can approach an answer in a basically you can say disciplined manner. So synopsis are the notes which are basically complete revision of entire sociology in just 100 pages. So we have compiled entire sociology in 100 pages, which will be getting as a part of our material which will provide you. You can do it regularly, or you can do it, you can say, after the completion of class as well. So after doing that, there will be hardly anything left, and then in next year month of June, this year also we are doing it, every year we do that, you are allowed to attend the basically test series free of cost, which is included in your foundational basically course fees itself. Matlab 8 tests we will have exclusively conducted for the student of next IAS who has enrolled in the foundational batch. Now what would you gain by writing these 8 tests? So first thing, we have read in the topic classroom discussion about the topic, then we have do the assignment, then we have discussed all the PYQs. If possible, we will write answer to the PYQs as well. Then we have clarified our doubt, we have attended class test. After that we have done entire synopsis or summary. Then what is left? What is left is that whether you are exam ready or not. So for testing whether you are ready for examination or not, we have 4 sectional tests and 4 full length tests. The purpose of having it included, if you see many of the institutions, they have a separate basically test series. Why we have included it? Because I strongly believe that you are attending a foundation course of sociology. It is my responsibility to train you in a best possible manner for every basically possible, you can say, requirement. And test series is also part of it. By evaluating your answer, I'll understand whether you have basically followed that particular topic sincerely or not, or do you need some kind of assistance, right? So this test series have questions and then followed by immediately you will be provided model answer. In some में भी class test के तुरंत बाद आपको model answer मिल जाएगा, so that you will get a basically satisfaction for your curiosity कि whether I have written correct content or not, right? And it is often followed by a detailed discussion where you will be attending and learning what are the things needed to address the demand of question and what you have missed or incorporated. After doing that, hardly anything left for you to cover, right? So that way you will be thoroughly prepared, right? And in next IAS, what will provide you in terms of material if you join? So in terms of material, we'll have paper 1 and paper 2, 2 booklets for basically detailed discussion of the topic. Secondly, you will get a sociology dictionary. Now, it is also available in the market, but unfortunately all the dictionaries of sociology are written by the Western scholars. They don't bother to take up the topics of Indian society, and that is the biggest lacuna they have. So, to eradicate that lacuna, we have a dictionary provided. What is the purpose of it? Before basically understanding, or if there is a difficulty in understanding any topic, you can just open a dictionary. जैसे कोई English का word नहीं समझ में आ रहा, what we do, we open dictionary and try to find out meaning, how it is used. Same way, any sociological topic, मान लीजिए आपको एक टॉपिक मिला एनोमी, अब आपको नहीं पता what is एनोमी, hypothetically, again if you don't know what is एनोमी, you can simply open the dictionary, see the एनोमी, read the description, read the examples and try to understand it. So that way dictionary is very helpful. Next, after dictionary, we will have basically your workbook. What is workbook? Workbook is nothing but a compilation of all the previous year question since 90s. So इसमें सारे unsolved PYQs, so that you can see them, read them and try to basically answer them to check whether your preparation is up to the mark or not. Every unit completion after that you are supposed to bring it in the classroom, we will discuss, and I'll ask you whether you are able to answer this question or not after 3-4 units, and if you are not able to answer that question, we'll have a detailed discussion of that particular question also, right? Then you'll have a solved PYQ booklet. Apart from discussion, I believe that previous 5-year basically sociology question again are compulsory for basically every aspirant who is appearing in mains examination with sociology option. Why? Because this will help you to understand the pattern. तो मान लीजिए आपने कुछ नहीं किया है in terms of your preparation. Even if you read this PYQ, it will give you a familiarity about the nature of the question and how this question to be answered as per the UPSC standard and requirement. So they are properly framed in this manner only. 250 word 300 words के आंसर हैं, again properly structured, properly presented. तो ये read करके भी आपको काफी सारा information basically gather हो जाए. Apart from that, as I mentioned, will be offered the summary note of paper 1 and paper 2. So this booklet is somewhere around 300 pages. This is also around somewhere 300 pages, and this summary note is 100 pages each. So this is first reading, this is second reading. Second reading will require less time, and then last one is about your synopsis, which is just 100 pages compilation of both paper 1 and paper 2. I am trying to trim it down, and by the end of the basically our course, you might get a second 30-page synopsis of all the topic, which is in a printed form. Currently we are providing you handwritten basically synopsis, which is written by myself only in a very poor handwriting. तो हो सकता है बहुत सारी चीजें नहीं समझ में आए, नहीं? It is just like reading a Brahmi or Kharoshti script at some time, but I'll understand कि देखते देखते आदत हो जाएगी आपको, and you will start deciphering that also. If there is a difficulty, I'll help you out in that, right? So these are the things we will cover. Apart from that, the test series and its model answer are also provided, right? So that way sociology will give you a basically thorough, you can say, input in the class itself. You have to do nothing by yourself. Only thing you have to do is जितना class में पढ़ाया जा रहा है. Since last basically 5 years, if you see any question in the examination, hardly any question has been asked which is not covered in the class discussion. There is no such question. Sometime the examiner, जैसे इस बार prelims में हुआ, try to do experiment, but even their experiment is easily doable in the basically UPSC mains examination based on the understanding of the sociology, है ना? So that is something which is assured that you will not get any surprises. At least in sociology, you will not get any surprises mains examination. Again, these are the things. Right? Now, again, so this discussion will help you to understand what is sociology and why you should basically prefer next IAS for sociology option subject, right? Again, second thing you might have is about the course duration. So I have already informed you about the course duration. Course duration will be somewhere around, consider it 4.5 months. Bearing one batch which was taken us almost 5.5 months, none of the batch was taking more than 4 months to us, because last time I was more carried away to give every possible detail to the student, but then I realized they were not needing so much of depth or detail. So again, this is a course duration. Simply, if I have to mention it concretely, if you start by tomorrow, by the 30th of October or before that, the classes will be wind up. Again, there will be some festive holidays in between, 15th August, Raksha Bandhan. So we have incorporated that so that we'll be completing before 30th of October. And after 30th of October, you have all the time to revise this up to the month of December and then pack it up, then prepare for your prelims of 2027. Then after prelims, again come back for writing the test series after a quick revision, right? After the completion of classes, and every day after the completion of classes for 3 days, the online access is provided to the students again for their multiple revision. And then after completion of course for the June student, that is on 30th of October, for 1 month they will provide you some kind of basically all the classes videos, so that if anything is left out in between, you are not able to cover, you can cover through the online lectures. And before after the prelims examination, 30 days again is provided, so that you can brush up your concept. You need not to travel to the class for basically clearing your queries or concerns. So this is what we have, first part. So if you have any query related to it, feel free to ask before we move to the next part. Any query, any concern related? Hanji. We will do that in class. That's what I mentioned, कि when we discuss the basically questions in the class, why we are discussing in first place is to write an answer about it. But before writing, in the classroom we'll have a detailed brainstorming related to what is the demand of question. Let's understand it, dissect it, then how to basically do brainstorming for writing an answer, and then how to execute your brainstorming content in a structured answer. That we'll be doing. And after that, you are expected to do the assignments and again submit it. Online student has a portal where they can submit, offline student can submit it offline as well as online. Then there is a doubt session for all that. So answer writing is an integral part. If someone is doing sociology without answer writing, it is no sociology at all. Why? Because knowing is not enough. Ultimately, examiner will not give you marks just because you are aware of a topic. Unless you write it down in the examination hall on a piece of paper, they will never award you marks. So writing is utmost important, especially in an optional subject like sociology. Right? Again, any other queries, concerns, doubt? Koi doubt nahi? Okay, fair enough. So if online student have some query, so feel free to ask. Okay, so as of now, I could not see any questions. Now, second part of our discussion is how to incorporate current affair or data in the sociology part. So again, remember, unlike other optional subjects where current affair play a very key and dominant role, sociology does not have such thing like a dedicated current affair related question. You yourself can see in the last 20 years, hardly they have asked you any question based on current affair. They wholly revolve the basically framing of the question around the syllabus. Very rarely मतलब रेयरली मतलब रेयरेस्ट ऑफ एरियर, जैसे इंडिया में डेथ पेनल्टी मिलती है वैसे ही सोशियोलॉजी में करंट अफेयर रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन आते हैं, वेरी रेयर। अभी तक हमने 100 लोग को भी फांसी नहीं दी है डेथ पेनल्टी में, सो वैसे ही यहाँ पे। बट अगेन इट डजंट मीन करंट अफेयर इज टोटली बेसिकली एब्सेंट फ्रॉम अवर सोशियोलॉजिकल डिस्कशन। सो वेयर इज करंट अफेयर इंपॉर्टेंट? सो टू अंडरस्टैंड इट, टेक एनालॉजी ऑफ सॉल्ट. Salt is very small in terms of its basically entity or in terms of its ingredient added in the food. But if salt is not there, entire delicious food will be less tastier or no taste at all, right? So current affair is exactly like playing a role of a salt in your answer. Again, how would an evaluator understand that you have comprehensively internalized the concept of sociology? So they will understand with your ability to interlink the topic of sociology with the current happening. So whatever happening around us in the society, again we have to learn the ability to interlink it with static topic. Say for example, जैसे you saw that there is a rising gig economy in India. A report suggested that by the end of 2029, we will have more than 2.5 crore people involved in gig economy. Again, gig economy is a kind of basically rising economic sector which is major player in generating employment in India. So again, अभी तो नहीं पता है, but I am just trying to make you understand कि again, how does this gig economy is rising in India? So reason is that in India you have too much of population. In India you have, along with too much of population, lot of unemployment or disguised unemployment, and the technological penetration, internet penetration. So gig economy क्यों राइज कर रहा है? 2014 के पहले तो कोई इस तरह का फैसिलिटी नहीं थी, एक्सेप्ट पिज्जा डिलीवरी पर्सन. वी डोंट नो एनी पर्सन हु कैन डिलीवर थिंग्स एट होम. Because the internet penetration has increased in India, because we have the population which is huge, and because we have sizable number of youth who are unemployed, we can see the gig economy rising in India. अब ये हो गया आपका जनरल स्टडीज अप्रोच. But when you write the same question from the sociological point of view, it would be too early to say, but यही concept को again India में basically apply कर सकते हैं कार्ल मार्क्स की थ्योरी से. Again population में बहुत सारे लोग को low wages भी मिलता है. जैसे मान लीजिए कोई unemployed है, even if you give him lower wage, he will be happy to do, and it is a ad hoc kind of job. 2 घंटे के लिए जाना है, काम करके वापस आ जाना है. It gave them freedom. So this is what GS orientation. अब इसी को सोशियोलॉजी में हम लोग क्या करते हैं? दिस गिग इकोनॉमी करंट अफेयर वी विल राइट इन राइटिंग एन आंसर ऑफ कार्ल मार्क्स, वी विल राइट इन राइटिंग एन आंसर ऑफ इमाइल डर्कheim, वी विल राइट व्हेन वी राइट एन आंसर ऑन द वेबर. अब ये कौन है? वी विल लर्न इन अवर सोशियोलॉजी ऑप्शनल क्लास. बट सिंपली सेइंग, कार्ल मार्क्स सेज कि जितने अमीर लोग हैं वो अमीर इसलिए नहीं बने बिकॉज दे हैव सम एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी एबिलिटी. They become rich because they hired some people who are working for them. आप अपने दम पे कितनी मेहनत कर लो, you will only earn that much what is needed to satisfy your daily needs or your family needs. But if you want to become rich, again you have to hire people who will generate income for you. You cannot have the potential to have an infinite wealth on your own unless you are a genius. Right? So majority of rich people become rich, Karl Marx in his thesis wrote, is primarily because they hired people. And when they hired people, they put a terms and condition. What terms and condition? That you will get 10,000 rupees salary per month. In return or exchange of this 10,000 rupees, what they take from the people is their very precious time and energy. उनको 10,000 दे करके उनसे 1 लाख का काम करवाते हैं. And वो 1 लाख में से जो भी 90,000 बचता है, that is a profit made by a पर्सन हु हैज हायर्ड, कैपिटलिस्ट इसको बोलते हैं. तो यहाँ पे जो रिच पर्सन है वो रिच अपनी मेहनत से ज्यादा अपने एम्प्लॉइज की मेहनत से बना है, बिकॉज दे हैव हायर्ड समवन हु आर रेडी टू सेल देयर लेबर टू मेक द बेसिकली rich person further richer. ठीक. So again ये 10,000 में क्यों रेडी हो जाएगा जब उसे मालूम है my worth is 1 lakh, because perhaps the misinformation is there, perhaps he is not having the ability to take the risk what this capitalist is taking, perhaps he is not basically visionary enough. So whatever be the reason, 90,000 rupees from every employee, if this one person is earning, do you think he will become rich? Yes, same logic is applied by all these basically companies, whether it is Blinkit, whether it is Zomato, whether it is basically Amazon, Flipkart and all. They are becoming billionaire. Jeff Bezos has got the status of richest person in the world. Why? Because someone is working hard in India to make him rich by delivering the product just by taking 19 rupees from the company, and again the otherwise company have to spend 500 to 1000 rupees to deliver that product to every customer. Now that is done in 19 rupees. So that way their hard work is what making the other person rich. That is what Karl Marx has said, and you utilize it in explaining gig economy, and that is how integration of current affairs. Similarly, again Emile Durkheim says whenever society modernizes, increase in the basically income or becoming affluent, people tend to become specialized, and when people tend to become specialized, they will not capable of doing everything, and when they are not capable of doing everything, then they are dependent on other to do everything. जैसे classic example is hiring a housemaid. We don't have any housemates in our grandparents times or great grandparents time. क्यों? क्योंकि इतने बच्चे थे वही काम कर देते, right? But अभी children are less, families size is shrinking, and you need someone to offer a helping hand. So that way you have to be dependent on a house help. But why would house help will work for you? Because you are paying them salary, and when you pay them salary, you are saving your time so that you can earn 10 times higher from basically working somewhere else and give it to the house help. So that way gig economy can also be explained. Key people today have no time to go to shop to buy things themselves. So what they are doing, 10 मिनट की डिलीवरी आप करवा ले रहे हो जेप्टो से. क्या आपको लगता है मेरा जाने से नुकसान ज्यादा होगा बजाय के उतने ही समय में someone can drop me a product. So that way it is basically interlinked with Emile Durkheim. Weber has said कि जैसे जैसे सोसाइटी में समझदारी बढ़ेगी, rationalization as and when it rises, you will find this kinds of new employment will be generated in such manner. So these are the things you will establish interlinkage, right? वैसे ही current affair का link कैसे कर सकते हो? So Emile Durkheim gave a topic of suicide. Now, last year 2025, NCRB released a report in which it says more than 10,000 farmers in India committed suicide. And now students are giving tough competition to farmers in the numbers of suicide, right? So again followed by students who are preparing for some competitive examination in quota or other place for IIT, for NEET, for civil services and other examination, right? So if you understand Emile Durkheim concept of suicide, you can easily explain why farmers are committing suicide. You can relate it with the farmer suicide in India. You can relate it with the student suicide in India. You can even relate it with some cultural practices, like there is a practice of Sanlekhna or Santhara among the Jain community, where elderly Jain fellows, in order to basically end their life, go on fasting. And this is a ritual. Samurais also follow it. Whenever they got defeated in any basically sword fight, they kill themselves. That is a code of honor of samurai, right? So this is also ending a suicide. क्या होता है? Suicide मतलब जहाँ भी side लग जाए, it is killing. और SU आपको पता ही है, SU मतलब self. जैसे pesticide is what? Killing of pest. Again genocide is what? Killing of entire genus. Again you might have heard of various other basically you can say cases where entire basically population are being killed. Hitler is accused of mass genocide of Jews, right? The entire genus of Jews community will be killed. वैसे ही suicide is what? Killing of self. So if a samurai fighter is killing himself, is it a suicide? Yes, and that is done to fulfill the honor, and that is one type of suicide Durkheim has explained. If you read that there is a girl after marriage who has committed suicide, again that will be also explained through Durkheim topic. So they will not ask you question on basically why this girl or this sports person or this movie actor has committed suicide, but you have to interlink it with Durkheim when you write an answer if there is a question on suicide, and that is what the role of current affair. If you incorporate in every answer or in sizable number of answer, the current affair, again your marks in each answer will increase by half or 1 point basically than without current affair. And there are total 19 questions. So in every answer you will get 1 marks extra. It means 19 marks you will be higher in terms of scoring than your friend who is not writing current affair. So current affair is that way important. Directly there is no question. So just like GS has a direct question on current affair, you will not have that in sociology, but current affair play a significant role. Third thing, कोई इसमें doubt है? We'll learn that interlinkage. In fact, we'll have 1 or 2 class after completion of some portion of the topic so that you will understand sociological topic with newspaper. Ki how newspaper has sociology in it and how to extract the current affair relevant for sociological basic input. Secondly, after the end of the classes, just now yesterday only I uploaded the current affair topic wise for all the previous batch students, so that if they were unable to interlink it by themselves, they can just read out those current aspect and incorporate it in their answer before the test series start on 7th of June. So we have a dedicated basically you can say discussion on the basically use of or extraction of current aspect from the newspaper. So whenever you read news, you should able to segregate that this is relevant for sociology or this is not relevant for sociology, right? How to use it, right? This is what it is. The third part which is important in sociology, again which is needed, is the interlinkage or connectivity between the paper 1 and paper 2 and the sociologist. So again, when you get the syllabus, last part before we take up your queries and concern, we will emphasize this. Jaise again Emile Durkheim has discussed one topic. If this topic is also discussed by another sociologist named Max Weber, so we would like to have a comparison between them, and UPSC is very interested to ask question from such basically topic. Like last year they have asked a question, जब आप पढ़ेंगे बहुत सारी चीजें आपको तो समझ में आएगी कि elite theory is given by 3 sociologists, Pareto, Mosca, C.W. Mills, and also by Roberto Michel. 4 कह लीजिए, है ना? अब they have asked how these theories are similar as well as different from each other, right? So जैसे मान लीजिए आपको कुछ भी नहीं आता कि यार इसमें सिमिलरिटी कैसे बताऊं, मुझे परेटो का पता है इंडिपेंडेंटली, मुझे मॉस्का का पता है, मुझे मिल्स का पता है, मुझे मिशेल का पता है, बट हाउ टू एस्टेब्लिश कंपैरिजन बिटवीन ऑल दैट? सो वी विल लर्न हाउ टू incorporate this kind of comparison inside the classroom itself, because majority of the time UPSC is interested to ask innovative question. If you have understood the topic very well, you will able to establish the connectivity by highlighting its similarity and differences, right? So if you see after our classes will be completed, all the previous year question during the class and after the class, you will find that sociology paper is no surprise in general in comparison to the other optional subject, where you have all the potential to attempt the 500 marks in the examination just by attending and reading the class notes itself. Even you don't need to read those books also if you are very thorough with the class notes and class discussion itself. And side by side, you have to do the answer writing practice. Once you have inculcated the skill of answer writing, when you started scoring very good, again good here means scoring in the class test somewhere around 50% marks. So out of 10, if you are getting 5, it means you can put it under the category of good, right? Again in examination, definitely you will score much higher if you are scoring in the class test 50% of marks, which is a very healthy or good score during the preparation. क्योंकि अगले साल लिखना है means तो you will have lot of input further added from basically completion of the classes and after reading of those basically new topics as well. Okay? So this is what we will be focusing in our discussion of basically sociology. So now I would like to take some of the myths associated with sociology and that need to be busted before you convince yourself completely that sociology is your cup of tea or not. So first myth about the sociology is that again in other subjects we don't need answer writing. But in sociology, we have to thoroughly go through answer writing, and without basically it, sociology cannot be, you can say, covered. So first thing first, Again, sociology as an optional subject is very analytical, and it depend on your understanding. It didn't ask you to memorize or cram. Just like geography, you have no need to memorize 100 of the rivers and their location. Again, due to this reason, this is liberating you from cramming part, just like the basically science and technology. If you have to know, you have to cram it, the facts and detail. Here, in answer writing, again, you have to address the demand of question, and one of the myths related to, you can say, sociology is that answer writing is very complicated or difficult. So to bust that myth, I would say it is as important and as easy as you do it in GS. Because in all the examination of UPSC, what you have to do? You have to write. In some optional subject, since they are more factual, they ask a straightforward question which makes you no need to write answer. जैसे maths है. Maths में answer writing की जरूरत नहीं है. Why? Because if you understood the concept, you can write the solution of it by basically your own understanding. So that is not needed. उसमें straightforward question होता है. There is no repetition of question. Only pattern is repeated. Questions are not repeated in maths. So you can easily answer. But in sociology, there is basically questions often get repeated, and the answer writing will help you to excel in that particular examination. So it is not that complicated what people used to say. It is the easiest part, and definitely the answer writing in sociology help you to excel in essay as well as GS portion. अगर आपने यहाँ आंसर राइटिंग कर ली तो आपको वहाँ नहीं करनी पड़ेगी. That is very certain, because answer writing is a skills once you develop, it doesn't basically require you more practice. जैसे साइकिल चलाना सीख गए, अब ये फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि एटलस की साइकिल है या हीरो कंपनी की साइकिल, यू कैन ड्राइव इट. सिमिलरली वंस यू लर्न हाउ टू ड्राइव अ कार, doesn't matter whether you are driving a nano or a Mercedes, both have a same basically orientation. So वैसे ही it is the easiest part in terms of, you can say, doing. But yes, it took lot of efforts. Immediately in first go, you will not able to write a brilliant answer. That required some patience as well as persistence to pursue. So again, answer writing is very complicated, and that is not liked by me. So I should not opt for sociology, should not be the argument, because whether you like it or not, GS also has answer writing. Whether you like it or not, essay also have answer writing. So this is first myth about sociology, that answer writing is very complicated. It is the easiest thing associated with sociology. Once you understood the topic, the answer writing is just a cakewalk. Second myths which I heard a lot about sociology is that it has thinkers, and wherever thinkers came, people started trembling as if they are reading some unfamiliar thing. Otherwise, I would say that sociology is becoming much easier all thanks to thinkers, because these thinkers help in developing perspective about a topic. जैसे मार्क्स ने किसी टॉपिक पे बोला है, लेट्स से मार्क्स हैज टॉक्ड अबाउट हाउ द सोसाइटीज आर ड्रिवन बाय द rich and poor or economic system, right? Emile Durkheim has talked about how everything understood from the source or from the utility functionalist perspective, right? So that will help you to incorporate that understanding and utilize it in other topics exploration as well. So thinkers are the most easiest part of the optional subject, and majority of the question directly or indirectly are influenced from the thinker. Once you understood the thinker, almost sociology is completed, because rest of the thing you can basically explore it on the basis of your study of thinker. जैसे एक बार सुप्रीम कोर्ट से पूछा था कि if we burn or if we eliminate all the articles given in constitution, how would you ensure the liberty, fraternity, equality and justice in Indian society? So Supreme Court judges have answered, give us only one article, we will basically redraft entire constitution with the help of this one article. That is Article 21, right to life. Because right to life include anything and everything which protect the liberty of the citizens of India. So same way, thinkers are that basically what Article 21 is in polity, or basically you can say constitution, right? कि अगर ये आता है आपको तो you know everything. And in sociology, unlike political science which has 17 thinker, sociologists or sociology have 9 thinker precisely. 6 are there in paper 1 and 3 are there in paper 2. Rest of the scholars are used to attribute some idea, but total number of sociologists which we have to discuss is just 9. 6 in paper 1, the easiest one, and the 3 in paper 2, again further easier. इसके लिए तो एक ही चैप्टर है, इसके लिए तो फिर भी एक चैप्टर में सब पार्ट दिए हुए हैं, इसमें एक ही चैप्टर में तीनों दिए. So these are the two chapters, unit 4 of paper 1 which has 6 thinker and unit 1 of paper 2 which has 3 thinkers. So that way it is the easiest, right? And too many thinkers anyhow is not needed as well. So this is one another part. इसी से रिलेटेड अगला मिथ ये है कि सोशियोलॉजिस्ट में बहुत सारे थिंकर के नाम याद करने पड़े. So this is also basically not true. Why? Because if you know their perspective, you need not to remember their name. XYZ name आपको नहीं लिखना है. Some of the student have or some of the selected student have popularized this view कि the more thinker you will drop the name in the answer, the more marks you will get. This is not true. Again, the thinkers are only used for attributing an idea, consolidating an idea, substantiating an idea, right? For example, जैसे मैंने बोला कि this book is very important for sociology, you must read. You may agree or you may not agree. But if I say this book is also recommended by AIR 2, this book is also recommended by a person who has scored 300 plus marks in sociology. Now my argument will backed by more credible evidences in terms of the testimony of that topper or the qualified person. That will give more weightage to my argument, right? जैसे मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि India is basically having a case of reduction of poverty. अभी तो हवा में बात हो गई. You may agree to me, you may not agree to me, you may trust me, you may not. But if I add this idea with one more point, that if you see the multidimensional poverty index of Niti Aayog, it says that India's poverty has declined from 16% to 2%. And that way it gave weightage to my basically argument. So वही वाली चीज है कि thinker का utilization इसमें होता है कि it will give you basically argument more credibility. Right? So this is one part. So इससे घबराना नहीं है. It is very much part and parcel of it. The third myth associated with sociology is it is vague और ambiguous. मतलब इसमें बहुत सारी चीजें abstract level पे और ambiguity ज़्यादा है. You can't basically have a certainty. So it is also not true. If this would have been vague, how could UPSC would have defined a syllabus for it? Vague मतलब इसको आप describe नहीं कर सकते, right? But since it is purely concrete and describable, that is why you have entire sociology divided in 25 units in paper 1 as well as paper 2. So this is also one part you have to keep in mind, right? Another myths many people have is sociology is, you can say, unpredictable या tough. So that is again not true, and its selection rate is also not basically very high. So one point is very true that in last 25 years, not a single person except 2004 and 2005 who got All India Rank 1. But All India Rank 2 बहुत सारे लोग का है और हमें select होना है, right? That is more important. Highest selection rate if any option subject have, and that too consistent, is sociology. I'll share with you the annual report of UPSC. So it will give you a clear idea that if 100 students are writing sociology mains in UPSC, the chances of selection in the final list will be of 10, which is highest across the option. In some years it is 12 also. And in other options, sometime it is 10, sometime it is 2 also, 3 also. So they are highly uncertain, because sometime UPSC went on, which is preconceived notion again, is targeting some option. Sociology को कोई target नहीं करता. क्यों? Because sociology and sociologists always maintain low profile. कभी ऑल इंडिया रैंक 1 नहीं आते कि सब जगह न्यूज में आ जाए, राइट? 1 की ज्यादा बेसिकली पब्लिसिटी हो जाती है, 2 की थोड़ी कम होती है. एंड दैट इज व्हाट वी हैव सीन, that sociology is having produced consistent result. So instead of being tough, unpredictable or lesser in selection, it is one of the highest, basically you can say, selection fetching option subject, right? So these are some things which I have to clear with you again before you can say giving you a idea to take optional of sociology, right? If you have any query, concerns or doubt, feel free to ask. Otherwise, we'll be basically winding up our session. आपके कोई concerns, query है, so आप पूछ सकते हैं, including online student as well. So, is the class notes or running notes sufficient and considered as primary source for whole preparation? Yes, definitely. The purpose of doing the basically classes for sociology optional subject to prepare for civil services, that one. Again, you can compare that if you are doing it by yourself, it take you 6 months to 8 months to complete, and often many times it is seen that you may not able to understand what the actual topic meant, because that is developed based on your own understanding and reading. There is no one who can basically correct you if you are going wrong. Here we are going to basically, you can say, assist you in all this understanding, which is quickly done in the classes. Along with, if you are making a wrong interpretation, we can check it out in your test paper itself and correct you there and then. So it is just like कि आपको मान लीजिए यहाँ से आगरा तक जाना है दिल्ली से, तो आप पैदल भी जा सकते हो. But if you take a help of a train or a flight, you will reach early. So coaching institution and classes are for this purpose, and that is why we incorporated all the available current as well as static material and compile it succinctly into a material which we discuss and dictated in the classroom. Nothing beyond that is needed. You will yourself acknowledge after completion of the course, right? So this is more than sufficient. Shivam, Khushi, this was a question of Khushi. Shivam has question, but sir, question, who should take sociology option? Who should take sociology option? Any person, as I answered, who has slightest interest in the happening around society. So if you are interested in basically knowing why caste system still exists, forcing the government to conduct a census and include caste question after 1931, sociology is your cup of tea. If you want to understand how people still use caste for voting behavior, sociology will be a cup of tea. If you have a questions or concerns related to, despite of so many efforts of 75 years of policy formulation, poverty is difficult to eradicate. Again, if you have a question, why even today dowry, despite of law prohibiting it, is still existing in different names like gift or some basically help. If you have question, why the female feticide, which is sex selective abortion, which is killing of daughter, still exists in India. In India, you don't do gender determination before birth. अमेरिका में आपने बहुत सारे वीडियो देखे होंगे कि वो लोग ब्लू और पिंक बलून बस्ट करते हैं to reveal the gender, and they do a party for that. In India, if you do that, you will be in jail. Why? Because this is illegal because of the killing of daughters before they are born. तो इंडिया में क्यों हो रहा है ये? इंडिया में again gender determination illegal क्यों है? That will help you to understand. Again, how religion at one point of time is a source of, you can say, integration among the people, and at the same time the same religion is misused for causing communal conflict. Similarly, how you will have the different basically people end up their life, which is suicide, and it is not psychological. Sociologists discuss that it is social. And simply why you are preparing for civil services, the answer is also from sociology only. It is not the genuine interest of an individual who basically want to prepare for civil services. Again, make them to start preparation. It is the society which attach lot of importance to the civil service examination. That basically inspire or motivate a person. अमेरिका में कोई सिविल सर्विस की तैयारी नहीं करता, पाकिस्तान में आर्मी ऑफिसर की तैयारी करते हैं, सिविल सर्विसेज की नहीं करते. सेम गोज विद अदर कंट्रीज. तो इंडिया में क्यों ऑब्सेशन है सिविल सर्विसेज के लिए? क्योंकि इंडिया में सिंस द ब्रिटिश टाइम देयर इज अ colonial mindset कि there is only 3 important people in the country, PM, CM and DM. अब PM बनने में थोड़ा सा मैनिपुलेशन चाहिए पॉलिटिकल, CM बनने भी चाहिए. DM required only academic superiority and a merit which any person having that can utilize to get into it. So because of this thought, people are preparing. Why not? Basically, we have so many sports person. Why not we have so many people in the Olympics? Because our colonial mentality tells us that if you want to liberate yourself from poverty, the easiest way is to join some government job or services. And this is not possible through sports, because sports mein selection or success is very low. So people don't want to take chance. People want certainty, and that is why sports may many people now showing interest, but earlier they were very reluctant to pursue it as a career. So these are the questions if you have in mind and you are interested in it, you can easily opt for sociology as an option subject, because that will answer not only this question but help you to basically provide solution to it as well. Right? Then how online student will get material? Again, there is service called courier. So we will use that services and provide you all the material which will be dispatched at your basically address when you join. Right? So online student will get same kind of attention what offline student will get. Wherever lacuna is, only lacuna you will feel is you're not sitting in the classroom physically, but mentally I assume that you will be basically all thorough in the class itself. Whatever doubts you have, you can easily ask. Whatever basically clarification, I'll share my contact detail also with the student, so they can ask personally also if they have some queries related to the topic discussed. So nothing to worry on that part ki online student will ever get step motherly treatment. We don't have such thing. Right? So these are some of the question we have. Now if any one of you have any question, feel free to ask before we wind up. Quick query before joining, because tomorrow we are starting our basically sociology optional subject. Timing will be 3 to 5:30 only. We'll start directly from the first unit, modernity and social change in Europe and emergence of sociology. Right? So before that, if you have any concerns, query, feel free to ask. रूम पर कैसे पढ़ना है? अगेन सिंपल थिंग्स हम लोग करेंगे कि लेट्स से यू हैव स्पेंड 2.5 hours in the class, right? So same time what you have spent in the class, let's say 3 hour कर लेते. So घर जा करके whenever, घर जब भी पहुंचो आप 10 बजे 12 बजे या उसी समय पहुंच जाओ मान लीजिए, अगेन 3 घंटा आपको इसके लिए देना है. अब 3 घंटा आप करोगे क्या? You will go through thoroughly whatever discussion we have made and whatever dictation or class notes we have made. Read it multiple times so that it will make a space in your mind. For example, after 2 months of classes, I started recognizing you as a student of sociology. You started recognizing me as a basically teacher of sociology. Right? How do this happen? Because we are seeing it each other every day. So when you see the class notes, it will also incorporate in your mind. You have already understood in the class. You have revised it at home for 3 hours, and इसमें कम से कम 3 to 5 times reading करनी है. 3 to 5 times reading मतलब from first page to last page one reading, from first page to last page another reading, ऐसे 3 से 5 बार every day. That will be basically requirement, है ना? और Sunday को if possible try to basically do the complete revision. And after completion of every chapter, I will ask you or I will prepare for all of you the synopsis itself, but only after completion of chapter. क्लास में भी डिक्टेशन में मिलते जाएगा आपको, थोड़ा थोड़ा हम लोग साथ में ही बनाते चलेंगे. एक साथ तो आपको मिल ही रहा है, बट हाउ टू मेक इट बाय योर ओन सेल्फ, नॉट जस्ट इन सोशियोलॉजी बट ऑल्सो इन अदर जीएस. तो ये सिनॉप्सिस क्या हेल्प करेगा कि हफ्ते में लास्ट दिन जब मुझे एक दिन में पूरे हफ्ते का पढ़ना है, 7 pages आई हैव, आई कैन क्विकली रिवाइज इट. एनी अदर क्वेरी? ओके, correct. So NCERT classes we have organized not from this year, we always do every year. If you see the previous years also we have NCERT. Why NCERT? So this is actually provided to everyone to ensure that they can take an informed decision before joining sociology option. So what about all of you who are going to join on 4th? We will provide it in a basically you can say on your student portal, online format. But does it affect any way in your overall understanding of sociology? Answer is no, because whatever we have discussed in NCERT, they are already going to be part of our discussion in basically optional paper 1 and paper 2. So then why we have covered it? For those students who are not able to make a decision whether sociology is their cup of tea or not, whether teaching method makes sense to them or not, or they were able to do justice to the optional or not. So this is an exercise we do every year. Again, even if you are not opting for sociology, because these classes were organized free of cost for everyone, but only in offline format, so that they can attend, right? So this will help them to basically understand कि मैं sociology कर पाऊंगा. मान लीजिए उनको नहीं लगा कि I am not basically good at pursuing sociology, they always have an option to opt it out and pursue some other option, but that is their informed decision they can make. So informed decision तब होगा जब आपको information होगी कि कैसे पढ़ाया जा रहा है. what is the pedagogy, what is the basically approach of discussion now, right? But these are very how helpful to them in general studies. So many of the students just sit for completion of NCERT also, not because they have to opt for sociology, but they have to complete NCERT. So that could be also basically approach. पहले हम क्या करते थे? We start from June and first 15 days we'll devote it for the basically discussion. But then I realized that is a separate program altogether. If someone want to pursue sociology, again with or without NCERT, they can have a choice. So we have separately conducted from 1st May to 15th May the session. In fact 18 May तक चला था. So 15 days classes were there, 14 days classes, and we have discussed basically thoroughly about major portion of NCERTs. And now we'll start from unit 1. So no way it is going to affect. It is just to make you assist in your decision making. Okay? So let's meet tomorrow to start with our actual sociology class topics. And thank you everyone for sparing your time, and have a wonderful time guys. We'll meet tomorrow. Have a great time.